What's happening, people? It's Nocturnal Thoughts coming at you with a real quick video. Then I'm gonna get out y'all way. As you can see, I got Ghost with me. Man down. Man down. He had a little accident. Hey, um, look, real quick. Let me talk about this situation here in the welterweight division with SHAWN Porter fighting this guy. I had to have a formula to remember his name. Sebastian Formella. I'm like, I had to think of how, because I'm not good at remembering names, as y'all know. So I'm like, Sebastian. Ain't that the name off the kid from the Never Ending Story? So that's my formula. The kid off of the Never Ending Story, Sebastian Formella. And I'm like, who has this guy fought? Because I see here a Germany fighter, and a German fighter, should I say. And I think his record was something like 22 fights with no defeats. So I'm like, that's at least he hasn't been defeated yet. That looks okay. Let me go look at who he's fought. And I'm looking through his boxing rec, and I'm not impressed. Well, I don't see anybody that I recognize by name. And I'm looking at records, and I'm not seeing any impressive records. Most of the people that he's fought has lost more times than they won. So I'm looking through his boxing rec, and I see Mason Gurkey or Mason Gurk. This dude already got 100 losses. You know what I'm saying? It looked like he had like maybe 15 wins, and 108 losses, and 33 of those losses were by KO. So this dude been knocked out 33 times already. And these are the type of dudes that Sebastian Formella has been fighting with. Now, when I watched Sean Ray, when I watched SHAWN Porter, credit to his thoughts from he knows his sports, because I was watching his video last night, and he was talking about how SHAWN Porter was one of the main people that was talking that talk, throughout this situation with this pandemic, talking about how there's no excuses past this point. Nobody should have any tune-up fights. And when he knows his sport said that, you know what I'm saying, it was like, you know what, man? It refreshed my memory. It was like, you know what, man? SHAWN Porter, he's not really the type of person that's ever shy of words, right? Gotta keep him on the leash. SHAWN Porter was saying some very interesting statements, like no excuses. Everybody has the same amount of break. Everybody got the same amount of break. Everybody got the same amount of time off, and we all should be fighting each other. Now, in the welterweight division, we know who the heavy hitters are. You got Errol Spence Jr., the truth. You got Keith One-Time Thurman, Danny Swift Garcia, Terrence Bud Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, and SHAWN Showtime Porter. Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. And we all know those are the guys that should be mixing it up at the top of the food chain. So SHAWN Porter goes on to say everybody has had the same amount of rest, and they all should be fighting each other. Oh, Kell Brook, go ahead and throw Kell Brook into that mix too. And you Danny Ugas, you can throw him in that mix too. Ugas. So SHAWN Porter was like, we all should be fighting each other. In the same interview I was watching when he said that, the guy asked him about, Terrence Bud Crawford, because the Terrence Bud Crawford conversation keeps coming up between Shawn Porter and Terrence Bud Crawford, because I feel like the boxing world really doesn't understand why those two can't go fist to cuffs. And Shawn Porter said, let me answer this once and for all. Let me clarify why we can't fight. So I perked up my ears. You know what I'm saying? I pushed my do-rag up, like, I pushed my do-rag over my ears. And I say, let me really tune in and hear this, because I really do want to get an understanding of the reason how deep this friendship goes, why Terrence Bud Crawford and Shawn Porter, at a perfect time to fight each other, just won't fight each other. And Shawn Porter, the way he answered that question, still left with the same amount of questions. You know what I'm saying? He answered the question where he was like, we met a long time ago. He's a cool dude. We had the same energy. His energy never changed. And we always said to each other that if we ever fought each other, it would be on our terms. And, the boxing business, is just putting us in different directions. Like they to me, they should be on the same collision course that Shawn Porter and Errol Spence was on the same collision course. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the way he answered that question, he never really made sense out of it, other than to say, we friends and we choose not to fight. Even when it started seeming like he was retracting that statement, saying, well, I think circumstances have changed and we should go ahead and fight now. You know what I'm saying? And Terrence Bud Crawford was maybe seeming like he was trying to say, well, maybe it's time to get in the ring with Shawn Porter, even though, Terrence Bud Crawford could be fighting Udanis Ugas or Carol Brook or whatever. Either way, it seemed like even to get those guys to start talking about fighting each other was a challenge. And even when they start talking about fighting each other, they quickly reneged out of that conversation. And Shawn Porter is fighting Sebastian Formella, who's fought Masan Gurki, who's been knocked out 30 times and already lost 100 fights. So, you know, once again, I got to give credit and salute to He Knows the Sports for acknowledging and pointing out that obvious double talk and obvious, you know, um, you know, duck from fighting real serious competition, and at pointing out the fact that he is a gatekeeper. I remember I don't know if it was Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman was asking Shawn Porter, what can he do to win these top fights? Because it seemed like Shawn Porter can get to the top, but he can't get over the top. He can get to the Keith Thurmans. He can get to the Errol Spence. He can get to the Kell Brooks, but he can't find a way to get over them. You know what I'm saying? They're going to beat him back down. You know what I'm saying? To his position, which to me, his position is a gatekeeper. No disrespect. And not in that division. And it makes no sense. I'm watching Shawn Porter train in the desert, you know what I'm saying, punching the bag, out there with his pops, and they're like, once again, we've got ourselves in the best shape we ever been in. This is the best training camp we ever had. And I feel like, man, you almost be quiet. It's like you throwing away all that I mean, it's cool to stay in beast mode. You know, I dig that, staying in Terminator mode. But you got to get in Terminator mode to go and destroy, you know, what's Sean Connor, the son. You're not even fighting another Terminator. You fighting the son. You fighting lesser competition. I know you're a boxer and it's a business, and you got to stay busy. You got to keep your tools sharp. But you can't have this pandemic that freezes everything, and you got fights on hold that once you press the play button, you know what I'm saying, we got to rewind all the way back to the beginning of the damn show. You know, Udanis Ugas is still out there. Kell Brook is still out there. Terrence Bud Crawford is still out there. Keith One-Time Thurman is still out there. And Errol Spence is still out there. You know, why go back and fight, what's his name again? Sebastian Formella. You know you know what I'm saying, who hasn't really fought nobody. That's gatekeeper status, in my opinion. And then one more person I want to, give credit to real quick before this video shuts out. And look at this. Hold up. Check this out. This mug is intense because I got this. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Y'all see that? I got a little kitten stray that my daughter is going crazy about. And she's trying to feed him. So now he's trying to come over here. And, Winston don't know nothing about no kittens, man. He ready to go over there and put the foot on the neck. This little dude, man. But anyways, top of the morning, and clicked on Tom Ross TV. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Tom Ross TV from Nocturnal. He's saying that Errol Spence might possibly be going back with Blu-ray for his strength and conditioning. I watched Blu-ray train just for briefly. Watched him just for briefly. Just for a quick video. I seen him train old boy from Black Fight Fan TV. Who you can actually tell has always been into the weights and everything. And I'm watching just a few of Blu-ray tactics, and I was impressed. And that was just a glimpse. That was just, you know what I'm saying, looking through the peephole. So he's saying, look, the things I do and come up with for Errol Spence, we keep that, you know what I'm saying, behind closed doors, behind curtains. We don't reveal some of those things that I've came up and cooked up with to have Errol Spence in his strength and conditioning when he was in a whole nother level of physical fitness, when, you know what I'm saying, he would just get stronger and stronger. I mean, he was in a whole nother type of a, you know what I'm saying, Super Saiyan mode. So if he does go back, I feel like whether he chooses to go back to Blu-ray or does not go to Blu-ray, we're still going to see a very impressive version of Errol Spence. You know, and he's been in that time chamber, he's been training, he looks to be in great shape. But I would have to say I would like to see him with Blu-ray, training with Blu-ray, and at least to look at the, even what we've known, the results for him to be back with Blu-ray. Before he was with Blu-ray, he was always a great athlete and in good shape. His time with Blu-ray, you can see he did level up. His fights without Blu-ray, we can see that you take under consideration that he said, look, I got to the point, where I started taking off more time and training only when I had fight dates set up. So, and he was doing that without Blu-ray. So you look at him taking time off, and your body, when you at the elite level, taking off that much time and starting back over, I just wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend, to each his own, but I would recommend the Blueprint by Floyd Money Mayweather, you know what I'm saying, to stay in tip-top shape. But he said, I would take off a week after a fight. Then I got to a point where I would take off 2 weeks after a fight. Then I got to a point where I would take off a month after a fight. And then he got to a point where he said I wouldn't really start training seriously again until I had a fight scheduled. So I take that under consideration, and the fact that he wasn't with Blu-ray under consideration, to say I think if he would have been at his optimal level, going into the ring with Mikey Garcia, going into the ring with Shawn Porter, we would have seen a whole different machine that would have completely, dominated and destroyed, versus just dominated alone against Shawn Porter and against Mikey Garcia. So, what I'm saying, if he does decide to go back, this mug then he trying to go all the way up in my house, yo. Like, you don't live here. I don't know nothing about cats and kittens. This mug is a stray. He been over here for like 2 or 3 days. But he cute. He a kitten. He cute. I don't know. I know, dude. And my daughter, she going crazy about him. But we just don't do kittens and cats over here. You know what I mean? I know. So, anyways, if he does go back to Blu-ray, and I see a big difference in his conditioning, then I would say he should stay with Blu-ray. He definitely should stop taking off the time, even though I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that this time around, because he's obviously been training, post the accident, post getting back through rehab and everything. He's obviously been taking his training on a serious level. So I expect to see that with or without Blu-ray. But I would like to see him with Blu-ray too. You know what I'm saying? Just because I felt like at the time he was with Blu-ray, it was undeniable that his strength and conditioning was bar none, and it was very impressive. And not to say he needs Blu-ray to get to that level, but if you already got something that's working, you know what I'm saying, why change it? You know what I'm saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So this is Nocturnal Thoughts, man. Appreciate y'all time. Y'all have a good morning. You know what I'm saying? And salute. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Shouts out to He Knows the Sports. Shouts out to Tom Ross Live TV. This is Nocturnal Thoughts. I'm out. Peace.